The Ford Bronco has been on the market for a few years now, so of course, Ford has started to branch out with a bunch of specialty models that cater to certain niches of the off-road segment. This is the 2024 Ford Bronco Everglades. It is an off-road version of the Bronco that is built for a very specific purpose. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. Let's check it out. So the Everglades is not a brand new model. It carries over to the 2024 model year, and it is a really interesting version of the Bronco. You can only get it as a 4-door. There is no 2-door version of the Everglades. It comes with a hard top as standard, and it also gets Ford's Sasquatch package. That means you're gonna get these absolutely giant 35-inch tires with Goodyear mud terrains. We've also got a unique 17-inch wheel finished in this dark gray color. Really nice looking appearance here, just much taller than a normal Bronco. You're also going to be getting these specialty decals here on each fender that say Everglades. We have some cool topography there. I'm here from Florida. We have our own Everglades, but I believe other states have Everglades as well. You're also going to be getting the wide fenders as part of the Sasquatch package. Not quite as wide as you're going to get on the Ford Bronco Raptor, but still a really cool looking appearance here. Now, you've probably already noticed here at the front, we've got the safari bar with the worn winch behind it. Now, we have a 100-foot line here. The 10S worn winch actually can pull 10,000 pounds, so this is super useful if the Bronco gets stuck, although very low chance of that happening. But you can also rescue other vehicles while you're out on the trail. We also have really good ground clearance here, 11.7 inches thanks to that Sasquatch package. We've also got something that's unique to the Everglades. You can't get this on any other Bronco. We have a snorkel right here. You can actually reverse this plate depending on if you're driving in dusty air in a desert or clean air like we would be here in Florida. So that is going to help the water fording capability of this car. As we'll talk about out on the road, you get about 3 inches more of water fording than you would in the normal Bronco, which is really cool. Something I also forgot to mention is that the wheel arches are a little bit squared off. You can see that right here compared to other Bronco models. So that is unique to the Everglades as well. You also get some roof racks up here that make it a little tricky to get the roof panels off because, of course, this is a removable roof vehicle just like the Wrangler. But the roof rack is pretty handy if you're going to put some camping equipment up there. Now, the final thing I should note is the colors are somewhat limited here on the Everglades. You can get it in this Area 51 color. You can also get carbonized gray, shadow black, azure gray, or my favorite color, which is called eruption green. Now, as we move on to the interior of the Bronco Everglades, not much is totally changed or unique for this model. We've got the marine grade vinyl seats that are pretty comfortable. They do look really nice. They have some nice bolsters as well with our Bronco logo right here. So they're kind of this gray finish, but then you also get some black on it as well. These are very easy to hose down, as are the rubberized floor underneath the floor mat. You can see that the floor itself is actually a rubberized finish, making it really easy to just pressure wash this out after a long day of off-roading. We also have a premium package that is going to come standard on the Everglades, giving us the larger screen here. The 12-inch Sync 4 infotainment system works pretty well. You can finally get full screen Apple CarPlay on this car, as well as Android Auto. Good size, but wireless capability for both Android and Apple. We've got our speedometer, which is going to be physical over here, but then we have our digital gauges that can show us some other functions as well. And I do like that there are plenty plenty of hard controls for things like the heated seats, vents, and all of that stuff. We also have some hard controls for our off-road stuff. So we've got our front and rear locking differentials. We also have a trail turn function. When you have the diffs locked, it's going to limit your turning ability quite a bit. So this is actually going to like break one of the inside wheels, making it easier to turn when you're on dirt. I don't advise doing this on the pavement unless you want to leave a big skid mark. This interior overall is pretty rubbery, pretty plasticky, I'm not gonna lie. We've got some softer touch materials here, but the whole point of this is going to be rough and tumble. It's not meant to be a super luxurious place to be. We've got the removable roof with a little bit of insulation. You can see there's kind of like this felt fabric here that helps a little bit with the road noise, but trust me, it is quite loud in here when you get it up to speed. That's to be expected from a vehicle with a removable roof like this, so I'm not really too surprised. We do have our aux jacks here. Love these, the aux switches. They are so fun to play with. You can rig these up for various different functions like off-road lights and stuff like that. We do have our goes over any terrain modes right here. So we have a part-time four-wheel drive system. You can set it to rear-wheel drive. We have a four-wheel automatic mode, which is great for raining. Like in Florida, it rains a lot. I don't want to put it in four-wheel high and limit my speed. Four-wheel automatic is going to use the all-wheel drive system when you need to. Now, this dial can be spun into different on-road modes. We've got eco, sport, slippery, mud and ruts, sand, rock crawl. Those are going to be your off-road settings as well, so you can just spin that dial here. We've got all of our window controls here in the middle because, of course, the doors are actually removable on the Bronco, just like they are on a Ford Wrangler, or on a Jeep Wrangler. Now, in terms of practicality, so long as you get the four-door Bronco, this is a decently usable family car. Not as much as something like a Ford Explorer. Obviously, you're going to lose a little bit of practicality for this thing being as off-road focused as it is. But that being said, I have a decent amount of legroom back here. I could fit two children or adults back here, no problem. Maybe a third here in the middle. And the trunk space as well, not too bad. We've got a side opening door like so. Now, if you get the soft top, it's going to be a little bit different than this, but the hard top is going to have this glass window that's going to open up with hydraulics. And as you can see, we've got a decent amount of trunk space back here, no problems. And something unique that I don't think I've seen on other Broncos, but you get here on the Everglades, is this really nice slide out table. This is great when you're camping and you just want to have all of your food, supplies, like whatever you're doing here on the table here. And that goes and slides in really easy and locks into place. That is a feature that I absolutely love here on the Bronco Everglades. Now, as we get out on the road in the Bronco Everglades, this is not the first time that I've driven a Bronco. I really do like a lot about what the Bronco has to offer, but this is a new trim. I've never driven an Everglades before, and this is actually the first time that I've actually spent a full week with the 4-cylinder Bronco, because the Everglades is only available with one engine. You can only get it with Ford's smaller 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder engine. You cannot get the larger 2.7 liter twin turbo V6 engine in this version of the Bronco. And honestly, I gotta say, I'm completely fine with that. I really like the 2.7 liter motor, but I have no problems with this 4-cylinder. It produces 300 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque, although I believe to get those numbers, you need to run it on premium. I think it's about 275 horsepower when you run it on regular fuel. But even so, that is way more torque than you get from the V6 that's in the Jeep Wrangler. That engine just feels so gutless compared to this Bronco. It really doesn't even compare. The 10-speed automatic transmission is really good as well. I didn't love this transmission in certain applications when it first came out, but it seems to be working really well here. Put your foot down, It skips a couple of gears, gives you the acceleration that you need. This is not a really fast vehicle. You can get the Bronco Raptor, which comes with a 3-liter twin turbo V6. That's like 400 horsepower. If you want to spend a lot more money than what we're looking at here for this Bronco Everglades, if you want to get the Raptor model, that's going to be your sort of performance option here on the Bronco. This isn't built for that. This is built for slow speed crawling. This is built for regular road duty. This is not made to be some kind of crazy race car. So for that, I think the 4-cylinder is completely fine. In fact, I've got my race timer here. So why don't we go ahead and put the GOAT mode, the go over any terrain mode, into its sport setting. That's right, we actually have a sport mode here on the Bronco. And let's see how quickly we can get to 60. All right, no launch control, so let's go ahead and put it into 4-wheel auto, which automatically comes on with sport mode, and floor it, and let's go. Come on, get me there. We're carrying along that winch, so that took a while. That was 8.19 seconds. All right, not super spry by any stretch of the imagination, but as we get into the corners here, we've got rack and pinion steering, unlike the Jeep Wrangler's reciprocating ball steering, so I don't feel like I'm about to fall off the side of the road every time you have to take a corner in the Bronco. That is one thing I really do like about the Ford Bronco compared to the Jeep Wrangler. It's a little noisy in here, but again, Wrangler is going to be just like that, but the steering is worlds better than it is in the Jeep. So if you plan to spend a lot of your time on the road, which, let's face it, no matter how much off-roading you're going to do, you are going to be on the road quite a bit. The Bronco is way better at that. Let's try one more 0 to 60 here. Come on. And that's 60, 8.46. So that was actually a little slower than the first time. So like I said, you're not really beating too many people in a drag race here. But I think once the thing gets going, I think it doesn't feel as slow as the number suggests there. This is a really big vehicle. We've got our big heavy winch there at the front. So as you know, winches are good for pulling you out of sticky situations. They're not great for drag racing. And let's be honest here, the real point of the Bronco is for off-roading, and this thing is great at it. They actually improved the Everglades water fording ability. We already talked about the snorkel that's up there that you can use in dusty or clean air, but they also raised the vents on both the front and rear axles, as well as the transfer case and the transmission. That increased the water fording ability from 33.5 inches in the other Sasquatch models to 36.4 inches of water fording in the Everglades. So it is a really specific use case, what you would do with this Everglades model. It's for the person who's going to go off-roading in the mud. They're going to be fording streams specifically, not doing sort of dry desert off-roading, although there's really no reason why you couldn't do that. So I do think that the Everglades is a very specialty package, but I do like how they put this all together. And as we're going to talk about, I think that the pricing of the Everglades puts it into a territory where I think it's going to be attractive for a decent number of people because it does look cool. It is kind of a unique vibe compared to some of the other Bronco trim levels, and it is certainly cheaper than the Bronco Raptor. Time to wrap up with the 2024 Ford Bronco Everglades. I really like this package for the Bronco. I think most people really want a 4-door. I think people who go off-road are going to want the Sasquatch package. And I think some of the neat additions that they've done here for the Everglades, including the unique decals, wheels, styling, the winch at the front, which you may or may not use, and the snorkel, just make this a really cool package. Now, a base Bronco is going to start at just under $40,000, but that's for like a 2-door manual with nothing on it. This Everglades version is going to start at $55,520. Honestly, Not bad for a 4-door Bronco with the Sasquatch package. You're going to be paying way more for a wild track. I believe that's like 60 grand. And the Bronco Raptor is like $90,000, nearly double what you're going to be paying for this Everglades model. So if you want a unique Ford Bronco, and the Raptor is just way outside of your price range, because let's face it, $90,000 is a lot of money to be spending on a Bronco, I think the Everglades is possibly your next best thing. I honestly don't think that you need the twin turbo V6 engine. I could live with this 4-cylinder, and I do really like how the Everglades looks if you're an off-road enthusiast. It's even better if you live somewhere like Florida, where you can actually take it to the Everglades. I really hope you've enjoyed this look at the 2024 Ford Bronco Everglades. For more videos like it, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. I'll see you next time.